back to A Pearl in Every Cowslip Seer. This is CLE Language Arts 600, Book 6. Your view from the back of my classroom. All right, 6th grade lesson 3, singular nouns with plural forms. Tricky little guys. Okay, let or leave. Please let or leave us go on the hike tomorrow.
Let.
Let, allow us to go. And notice that go, let us go. There's no verb in there. Okay, on the board, the culprit, an overweight raccoon, had chewed through the plastic garbage can. What is the appositive?
An overweight raccoon.
Good, an overweight raccoon, and raccoon is the actual appositive. And does raccoon actually have 2 C's and 2 O's? It does, it's spelled correctly. Had chewed through the plastic garbage can. Remember, it's just repeating culprit, Apostle Paul positives. Okay, the new lesson are nouns that look like they're plural when they're actually singular. Some nouns end with S, and so we want to say, oh, it's a plural one. No, it's not. News. Did you hear the news about the new baby? Well, there's just one news to say. There's not lots of news. Did you read the news? The news is interesting. Not the news are interesting. And I think this one sounds right to us. But then other things like mumps or mathematics. Mathematics is a fun subject. Not mathematics are. It ends with the S, but it's just one thing. Physics is fun to study, not physics are. Civics is. Many things that end with S, even though they have the S on them, we're still only talking about one thing. So every time you see that S at the end, don't say, oh, let's use a plural verb. Say, are we talking about one thing? Or are we talking about more than one thing? If we're talking about one thing, use a singular verb. Mumps is or are a preventable disease. Is. Mumps is one disease, just like a cold. A cold is a disease. The news was or were encouraging.
Was.
News was, the one thing was. $5 is or are a lot to pay for parking.
Is.
Yeah, now this gets a little bit tricky because if you would say this, $5 is or are on the table.
Are.
$5 are on the table because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You see them lying there on the table. $5 are on the table. $5 were on the table. But if it's an amount, a certain amount, $5, this much is. 3 cups is enough flour, right? 5 tablespoons is or are a large amount. 5 tablespoons is a small amount. And since we're just talking about an amount here, $5 is this much, a handful, is one thing. We've got 5 separate ones in there. There are cases where you would have all 5 of them laid out and then you would say are. If you kind of picture 5 individual things, then you have more than one. But now we have one thing. This amount is. Did you see the new parking they put up in town? People were all upset about this sign